Okay, so my copy of Twilight Struggle showed up, and I'm giving this, well, it's the first CDG, not the first game that's been driven by cards, that I've played since very, very early in their time period. I played We the People, I believe, about when it first came out. I definitely played Hannibal and Successors, both once. Neither one terribly excited me, although the multiplayer aspect of Successors, of course, did more. So, I'm trying to give these another chance because I don't feel like without playing something solitaire, I've been able to fully experience the game as I would like to. Anyhow, let's take a look at the situation. This is at the end of the first turn. I probably will kind of flow in and out as we go. But it looks like the Soviets have encroached, gotten a little bit more strength in Eastern and Western Europe, for that matter. Got the DEFCON down to 3. Both players managed to do 5 military events in the game. The U.S. got a jump on victory points up to 4. Look quickly at the cards that got played as events. So we had the Romanian abdication, the CIA, the Suez Crisis, Nasser, and de-Stalinization. In terms of discarded events, we also had an India-Pakistan war, a duck and cover event, which gave the U.S. some victory points. Let's see what we got there. Not all of these were run as events, so some of them were just used as points. I'm playing with all the optional roles, the optional cards, and the Chinese Civil War role. The Russians have activated China card. I'm assuming that Russia has what's perceived to be an advantage in the game, given the replay, which I didn't read fully. Okay, so not a lot I can say at this point about how the game's moving, etc. The one thing that really terrifies me about this, and probably the system as a whole, is the event-driven mechanism. I'm worried about replay value. Obviously, for a lot of people, this is not a big deal. They'll enjoy being able to see the events happen in slightly different order, etc. But I'm always afraid with fixed events like this that are very, very specific, and some of these are. They're specific to certain countries, etc., that they don't capture the flavor in quite the way that I want to. So, for example, the Nasser card, it has to be Egypt. You get something like that, and people who've played the game a bit know, Egypt might go pro-Soviet, so I'm going to play a little differently based on that. That ends up actually, that can be a good mechanism if that knowledge is something that's built in to trying to recreate the historical decisions that were made. In this case, it seems to be the opposite. There was a lot of British influence in Egypt at that point, and it all went away. So I kind of feel like whatever mechanism is being used for the event cards wasn't thought out to the degree that I had hoped. I'm also not terribly impressed with the operations point draws. I mean, that's a nice little feature, being able to hold cards, etc., but it doesn't really seem to... It's a mechanism, and it's one that slightly hurts solitaire playability, although from what I've heard from people, they feel like the game can't be played solitaire, or these CDGs can't be played solitaire. I don't see that at all. To me, it looks fairly reasonable as a solitaire game. Yeah, you have to wear two hats, but there's not a lot of reaction going on, and I find that to be more painful in a solitaire game than really the fact that somebody knows something that somebody else didn't. The Soviets had to play with their cards face up. I'll flip that over because they won't have to on the next turn. Over on the space race, the Soviets made the first move there. The U.S. Didn't get to play a card for it. I'm trying to get a feel for this. The top subject matter excites me. We'll see how it works out. At the very least, it'll be a neat, cute little game that I think I will like better than a pure war game on it. I do have Here I Stand on pre-order, and that's an even more exciting subject matter to me. And it's a multiplayer game, which I think does combinations. I'll make the game a little better from my point of view. I'm still very worried about replayability, though.